Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Barely Legal Podcast. I am your host, Robbie, and this is my co-host,
V.
All right, so the lead story of today is Demi Lovato ODing. Apparently, Demi Lovato was on
heroin.
Well, first she was on crack. I mean cocaine, because that's what rich people use, right? They sniff that powder. But at first she was on cocaine, and then she came back on heroin.
Yeah, I guess.
That's weird, because that's what I'm saying. Like, so we were having this conversation earlier on when somebody, especially celebrities, when they say they're going through a dry period, are they really going through a dry period? Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing, because like you can destroy your image if people think that you're still on drugs. So if you get it under control, they're like, yo, just get it under control a bit. And you walk around like it's under control, people will buy into that. They'll buy your records because she's had a history of mental illness and other things like that.
But heroin is the one where it's like one and done and like you're addicted. Like you can't get that under control unless you like do real rehab and not this celebrity rehab. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing though. She wasn't, when she was saying she was addicted, if I'm getting my story right, and once again, like, could be getting it wrong, she was on cocaine first. So this heroin thing is new. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, or she was just always on heroin, and they said it was cocaine because it sounded better. Because heroin does sound like...
Let's go with that, because heroin
like
is always
drug.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. You can do any drug in the world. You'd be like, yeah, I sniffed some coke in college. I did this. I did some ecstasy. When you say you do heroin, people are like, hey,
yeah, like,
yo,
whoa, time out
this
now.
Really like that? It's really like
hide
that?
your valuables.
Yeah, nobody trusts a heroin addict. What do you call it? A heroin head? What do you call somebody who does heroin? You call them a blue magic?
I feel as though everyone is just a crackhead, but that's crack cocaine.
That heron. You're a heron head. A heron user.
Heron?
Heron. That's what they say in the hood. They call it heron.
Heron.
Yeah.
Wait, what is a female hero?
A heroine. It's not the same. I think there's an E at the end.
It is an E at the end.
Yeah, but they're not called it.
Anyways, I really hope she's okay. I don't like the whole I was sober for 6 months.
6 years.
6 years.
That's what I thought she said 6 years. Did she say 6 months or 6 years?
I thought it was 6 months because I thought in her song Sober is when she said I relapsed.
I thought she was sober for 6 years and then relapsed.
6 years sounds like a long time for her.
I know, because she's a kid. She's only 25.
I mean, yeah.
And if she really is 25, you know they lie. Let me see. Yeah, 6 years of sobriety. That's what happened to Philip Seymour Hoffman, but he was actually on heroin. So Philip Seymour Hoffman was on heroin, and he stopped. And then when he came back, he did a lot of it, and he just died. Because when you stop, you just do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you just binge it. Like I'm an advocate of Mountain Dew, but I try to stop drinking it.
They were on Barney and Friends.
Okay, but if I don't drink Mountain Dew, and I come back, usually I drink like a 20 ounce. I'm drinking a 2 liter. I'm going in on that Mountain Dew.
Why?
Because it's so good. It's so good. Mountain Dew is so good.
But it's not.
Oh my goodness, you are tripping right now. Like, tell me a drink that comes even close to the dewy goodness.
Water with lemon.
No, stop it. So
when did that song "Sorry Not Sorry" come out?
I don't know.
Was she saying "Sorry, not sorry"? I still do drugs. You think? I do like that song.
Sorry, I'm not sorry that I like Coke. And then it was
it's heroin.
No, sorry I like Coke. I'm not sorry I like heroin. It's too soon to make jokes. First of all, it said she was fine, okay?
Wait, no.
We know she's fine.
No, I didn't.
We know she's fine,
I didn't read anything that said that she was fine. It was just said she was hospitalized.
She's fine.
Oh,
she's
okay.
fine. She's stable.
No,
okay?
I hope she's okay.
So, sorry I used cocaine. Not sorry I used heroin. I think we can go with that now that we know she's okay.
But let's make it clear that I'm not joking about her situation. I really do hope that she gets better.
We both hope she gets better.
We're both making these faces that are like trying not to laugh.
Hey, yo.
No, but I really want her to get better because I do like her.
I know a lot of dudes that overdosed. I know a lot of dudes who went through this. A lot of chicks too. So that's what I'm saying. Because when we were arguing earlier, I was like, you were like, nah, she's been sober. And I was like, man, I know a lot of people who said they were sober and they had that shake, or they start tapping their foot a little too much. They just kept tapping their foot over and over again.
But you know,
I'm like,
I am gullible, and not really for certain people. Because when was the Met Gala?
I don't know this stuff.
Because supposedly there was this article that I read that she was at the Met Gala or someplace. I'm pretty sure it was the Met Gala though. And she was like, there was just this one chick, she really just made me want to like go shoot up or whatever. I don't do drugs, so I don't know. But she really made me want to relapse. And that was like this year. And the person she was talking about was Nicki Minaj. So she said she left to go to a meeting. And she was like in her dress and everything. And I'm like, wait, so was this all publicity? Like, was she still sober at that time? Or was she never sober?
But she said, wait, when we stop you, because she was on cocaine. And she said she made me want to shoot up. So that could have been a sign that she was shooting up at the time.
But all I know is she said she had to leave the after party because she wanted to do something. And she left and went straight to a meeting.
That's crazy. She went to like an AA meeting?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, before we get caught up in this, I want to switch the topics and we're going to go on to the Charlamagne topic. All right, so apparently Charlamagne... So earlier this day, Charlamagne made a confession about not... So he had this like conversation on his podcast, which is not The Breakfast Club, where he was joking around about the first time he and his wife had sex, they were both drunk. And I guess they were talking about the conversation of rape. I haven't listened to that podcast. But the thing I found that was weird about that was that, people are saying, they're wondering if he raped this 15-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. I take the man at his word on that, you know what I'm saying? Because, the way he explained it, it made sense to me, So I'm just going to leave him at his word unless more evidence comes out.
There was more evidence, I thought. I thought they actually did a DNA test and it showed that he did not have sex with her.
That's what he said, yeah.
That's what his attorney said.
Yeah, but his attorney's saying what he said.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what he was saying earlier. And his attorney was saying that basically what he had reiterated on other shows. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to play, but that's what I'm saying. I'm about to play this one. And this is because this is the thing that got me. Because I was looking for that, and I found this. And this is something, because like he has a history of saying some like things about women where I'm like, bro, like, I don't know what you should say it on air. So when they were talking about the Me Too movement and he was coming out on Cosby and people like that, I was like, bro, like, I've been listening to The Breakfast Club for like 5 years. And dude has said some stuff where I'm like, I'm surprised none of that stuff came out. And I'm not going to say everything he said, but I'm going to play this clip where you can hear what he actually said. And this is a clip he had on his Brilliant Idiots podcast. So I'm gonna play that right now.
Hey, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. I got this girl real drunk, and
that sentence sounds like
I was just about to say that.
I got her drunk.
I didn't just get her drunk. I remember going. I went to the sex store and got Spanish Fly.
Oh, so you raped her?
Shut up. Spanish Fly. They sell it in the sex store. I'm telling the truth. They sell it in the Spanish store. I had the fucking.
There's some knives at the store too. You could put that to a girl's throat and have sex with her. That doesn't mean it's illegal.
So I put the Spanish Fly in the E&J. We drinking the E&J and shit. So in my mind, I don't know if this shit really worked, but I felt like I got horny as a motherfucker too. Right? So she was drunk as shit, and we had sex and shit, and like a lot of my boys was trying to come in the room and fuck her. I'm like, nah, chill, like I can't. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna turn the train on. That's rape. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's rape.
This is one-on-one. It ain't rape.
Yeah. So the next
trains are rape.
So the next morning she wakes up. And we talk about it. And she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, we had sex.
The fact that she
said, "Okay, well, I'm glad it was you." Then a couple days later, she's like, "Yo, are you sure I only had sex with you?" One of my stupid ass cousins was going around saying he fucked her, which he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't. Okay. I was there the whole time. Yeah. He did not fuck her. Yeah. He looked at her naked, but he didn't fuck her, right? So, I'm telling her, no, me and you just had sex, nobody else did nothing. So it just was weird that she was like, oh, I'm just glad it was you. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, you could have been in a real bad situation if it was another
That's a huge
motherfucker there.
compliment, man. A girl just said, yo, at least you raped me.
I didn't rape her. I did not rape her. I did not rape her.
Hey, if it was any of your cousins or friends who have been raped,
I didn't rape her because me and her had every intention of having sex with each other.
So then why would you put the Spanish fly?
I'm still a freaky motherfucker, but listen,
Was she passed out while you fucked her?
Nah, she wasn't like, she was like one of those drunks where, she was one of those drunks where like, she was one of those drunks where she was like, she wasn't coherent, but she was up. You know when your girl just, like when you're blacked out, like that, don't know what the fuck's going on type shit. Like she was really.
She was
Alright.
This was today?
This is what I found this today. A record. He had this on his show like a while back.
Oh, okay.
But this is the type of stuff he used to say all the time back in like 2013, 2014. He used to tell stories where you'd be like, yo, man, what? And so, I mean, what do you think about that clip, like off the bat?
First of all, I don't like this man. I don't like him. And based off of just what he just said, like, yeah, he raped her. If a female or a male is passed out.
He said she wasn't passed out. She was blacked out and like belligerent. But she wasn't passed out.
So that means she cannot give consent.
I think it's beyond consent. I think it's just common sense. Do you know what I mean? Like consent is a thing, but when somebody's that drunk, you shouldn't even be asking for consent. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should be like, yo, let me make sure you get home, or
let me
get
some
out
water.
Let me get out of here. But it seemed like
he gave her the Spanish fly.
But isn't that the thing that Bill Cosby was joking about in one of his things?
No.
That was the Spanish fly, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but yo, continue what you were saying though.
I don't like him. I don't like him. And I agree with you that I'm surprised more things just haven't come out against him.
But yeah, because Bill Cosby had a joke about like,
what do you call them, thigh gappers?
Something. He had a joke about Spanish fly putting it in a chick's drink to get some. And so when he said he used Spanish fly,
I just had to look it up, and there's like a lot of different variations of it. I just don't like Charlamagne.
But he said, yo, I put it in the drink, so we both got it, but she didn't know that he put it in there. He said that. You can't
do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so here's the first thing he did. The first thing he did was put Spanish fly in the drink. Second thing he did is she had her in a situation where she was by herself and there was a ton of guys. Right? And all those guys were willing to have sex with her when she was passed out.
This is a different situation than what's currently.
Yeah, that was the first situation. The 15.
The fact that there's different situations is just like, wow. Like. Yeah. But yet you believe he didn't rape the 15-year-old back.
No, because this is the thing about Charlamagne. Charlamagne, I don't know if it's a lack of common sense or self-awareness, but he doesn't seem to lie about it. He seems to just be, because when he was talking, he talked about it years ago. And he was like, yeah, man, I did this, da-da-da-da, and I left. And it's just like, because he's not lying about this. He's just saying exactly what happened. He doesn't seem to have the self-awareness to be like, man, I shouldn't say this. Like, at all. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm going to tell a story, and let's say, like, I lied about something, I'm going to admit the part where I'm like, yeah, so I was talking to this guy and then I lied about this. Like, I would admit that. I'll omit that. Because people aren't going to make themselves look bad. But this dude doesn't seem to care. Just like, on his show, he'll talk about stuff and then he'll be like, yo, I would have did this. And he'll say something real. Yeah. And then he'll be like, I don't see what I did wrong. I just said how I felt. Because I think that's just who he is at his core. He's just somebody who, like, he doesn't have a filter. So he's saying stuff. Because what he did, like, I mean, it's one of those situations where, like, this goes beyond consent. This goes beyond, it's almost predatory. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, if you, before you met up with this chick, regardless of what her intentions were, so she's not even over your house yet, you're preparing. You got to go to the store to get Spanish fly.
I mean, who just has that lying around the house?
Like, let's say she died, you would call that premeditated. You would call that first degree murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we were looking at rape, like like murder. You know what I'm saying? There's like, you could say somebody just got caught up in the moment and raped it, like 2nd-degree rape, right? And when I say got caught up in the moment, I'm not trying to excuse any of it. I'm saying it's just some people plan it out. Some people are out there just raping people. And some people, they're like, I have to have this right now. Do you know what I'm saying? They're like, they become like psychopathic about it and very like, so that's what like, it sounds like in a lot of the cases when we talk about rape, you talk about like dudes who like couldn't take no for an answer because they became like whatever, like monsters.
Or it's not that they can't take no for an answer. They're not even allowing the woman or whoever to say no. You slipping something in their drink, you're not even giving the woman a chance.
But that's different. What I'm talking about with that, it's like that's predatory. That's beyond what we're talking about. We're talking about on a like, so it's bad. Like this is horrible, and then this is like straight up like some assassin type stuff. Like somebody's literally like planning out where we're gonna be when I put this in your drink. Because basically he put it in her drink, and she's in a situation where it seems like she's the only chick there, and there's a bunch of dudes. So you're already putting her in danger, and you're taking away her agency. So she can't really navigate the situation. What if something happened? What if something happened and you had to run out, right? Yo, dude, she would have got gang raped. Because that's basically what you told me. You told me your guys was trying to gang rape her.
Yeah.
You telling your guys was trying to gang rape her. So this is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think, like, off the cuff, that just it's a bad look. And, you know, if what he said is true, then I think he's going to have more ramifications.
But you know what? I feel as though people who don't recognize their status, or they don't, like, because he is getting to a point where he has status. He's beyond that point. I don't like him. I don't want to give him that credit. But whatever. So yeah, he is. But back then, whenever this recording that you just played was, he wasn't at that level yet.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. This is Brilliant Idiots, right? Brilliant Idiots is his own podcast. So he's got the Breakfast Club and he's got Brilliant Idiots.
Okay.
Brilliant Idiots.
When was that recording?
So I don't know. They didn't say, but I'm thinking Brilliant Idiots has only been on for like 2 years. I think.
Oh, okay.
So
well, yeah.
He definitely had that status. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's just.
That's such a touchy topic.
All right, so we're gonna move right along, and we're gonna go to these proposed changes in student loan program. I know this is a swift change from the Charlamagne topic,
Very
but
swift
since
change.
we are both lawyers and we both went to school and we both amassed debt going to school, we're gonna talk about this student loan debt for a moment. So you're actually the one who brought this to my attention, and this is from a July 20th Associated Press article about schools considering, instead of you taking out debt from these banks and, you know, the government, they would allow you to go to school essentially for free, but they would want your future earnings.
A percentage
of your future earnings. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I just think, in theory, it sounds great. Like, it really does. If everything works how it's supposed to work, if you are going to sit up there and say you are guaranteed to have this job, you're going to make this amount of money, okay, I'll give you a certain percentage. Because in that article, it didn't say, like, how long you would have to continue to give them a percentage of the thing or whatever. It didn't say, like, would it be something that would be taken automatically from your paycheck or whatever. But there are so many lawsuits from, like, smaller universities and colleges. I guess off the top of my head that I can think of is, like, for example, DeVry. There was that class action lawsuit against them because they were guaranteeing, like, you would get this job, you would have all this job security.
Law schools too.
And it's like, well, you want to switch up the whole loan repayment, but yet you're not addressing the bigger issue of, are these schools actually preparing me for whatever career choice career field that I'm going into?
Right.
And it's like, I mean, for me, the last I checked, my student loans were like...
Hey, hold on one second. This thing is just playing. You pull up some Yahoo and then just force you to, like, listen to the video. Wait, go ahead. I'm sorry. Like, dang, man, I don't want to pause. This they keep playing. Like, dang, oh, man. Anyway, go ahead.
What was I saying?
You talk about student loan debt and all that.
Oh yeah, mine's at the last I checked, like $250, and that is a lot of
Oof.
You know,
You just gave me heartburn.
There are so many people when I say
later.
that number. There are so many people that are like, "Aren't you freaked out?" And it's like, I mean,
You can't really be freaked
you
out.
can't be
every
freaked
day by the moment.
and I know some attorneys out there who are freaked out and they're like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay back these student loans. And I just take their approach. I mean, they'll get paid eventually. Like, if not, I mean, it is what it is. Shit, I'm not going to stress out about it. But if I had the option before going into law school to sign up for, I'll give you a certain percentage of my salary, I would turn that down, because at that time I wanted to go into a certain area of law and I'm doing something completely different. And I told you I want to get into marijuana law. So it's like, I mean, your mind changes when you're in college. Like, this is what I want to do. And then you get out and you do an internship or something. And then it's like, well, shit, I don't really want to do that. You decide you want to do something else, and you take a significant salary cut.
Yeah. But here's my thing, and we're going to go into another topic, and this is a topic that is tangentially related. Is college really worth it? Right? So the reason why I bring this up, going from the student loan debt discussion, is because student loan debt ties heavily into your future earning potential. And there's this Yahoo article that was released, this Yahoo Finance article, the one that was playing, about the economic benefits of college or graduate school degree is diminishing. And they were showing that people are making less and less than their parents, right? So beginning in like the 40s and 50s, people were making a lot more than their parents. And now it's, I think, like roughly 50% never earn as much as their parents. And the other thing they talked about was black college graduates are on par with black people who don't even go to college, right? So you're getting in debt, and you're not making any more money than black people who don't go to school, which is insane to me. And you know, I'm not a proponent of college. Like, I'm not for college, and the only thing I'm for college on is just if you know exactly what you want to do and it's a lucrative degree. People, because you go to grade school or primary school in certain countries, you go to middle school, and you go to high school in order to educate you. You go to college to be trained for a job. People are trying to go to college to find themselves. That's not why you're taking on a mortgage. You're taking on a mortgage, right? You don't take on a mortgage to find yourself. You want to find yourself, don't go to college. Do what I did, right? So I went to college, right? But you know what I'm saying? When I got out of college, I worked in a factory, and I traveled the world. That's what I did. I was like, you know what? The rest of the world is the rest of your life, you have the burden of providing. So take time to understand who you really are. Like, find out, search for your roots. So that's what I did.
I feel as though now, with social media, because I blame social media for everything, the gap year is very, I feel as though more people are doing the gap year. And if you would have asked me, let's say 2-3 years ago, I would have been like, no, more than that. Let's say 5 years ago, I would have been like, gap year? No, you're not going to take a gap year. Your ass going to college. But now it's like, if you don't know what you want to do, like, I'm not about to pay for you to go to college and you about to just mess around and take gen eds, which is a whole nother, can't stand the gen ed requirement, but whatever.
But see, I'm gonna push back on that. With America, you don't need. With America, it's more in a gap year. So like in other countries, it's like, yo, you basically go to college to be what you're gonna be. There's no grad school. I mean, there is grad school, but you basically, like, if you want to be a lawyer, you're doing an undergrad. You're gonna be a barrister, solicitor, whatever. You want to be in med school, you do that undergrad. But for us, you got to go one step further, because college debt in America is a real thing.
A very real thing.
So, like, you can't just take a year off and be like, I took my gap year, I'm going to school. No. College is about, if you want to go to college, you either have to go into a major that pays a lot or take some time and be like, okay, I'm ready to be serious because I'm taking out all this debt. right? I'm ready to be serious, and I had no problem with that. You come back, you're 25, you're like, I'm ready to be serious. I'm gonna take $100,000 out, and I'm ready to be serious and make money.
I definitely agree with you there.
Because when I was in school, and you talking about early 2000s, it was like already people were graduating in 5 years, right? So it had changed from the 4-year structure to the 5-year structure. And so now I'm like, well, that's an extra year, like that's like $20 extra $1,000 at this point. So it's just like
more than that.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like you got to be careful because college is a scam. Like there's so many careers you can go into that you don't amass that kind of debt. You can be an electrician, you can be a plumber, you can be a garbage man. There's so many things that you can do. And
they pay very well.
Well, there's a show called Dirty Jobs, and he said he would go into school, and the technical jobs, the technical professions would be looked down upon, and they have the college, go to college. And it's like how many actors who are young and become adults go to college, and it's like. And you see the older people like, no, you go to college to get a career. It's going to train you for a career. You have a career. You don't need to go to college. People are like, I need to be educated to pass my parents. It's like, no, you got educated. You went through high school. That's your education. Everything else is job training. You think about college like technical school. If you think about college like technical school, you won't be in there not going to class. You won't be in there doing nothing because you're training you for the profession that you're going to do for the rest of your life. That's why people need to take their time because they're putting it in your head because they get so much money out of you. And you know, I'm not even talking about a conspiracy theory. I'm talking about what's actually happening with the kids right now. So yeah. All right. So here's another topic, and I'm not trying to stay on like a low note because it's like, you know what I'm saying, like we just had some serious topics to address. So we got like one more topic, and it kind of ties in with college. Are we sold false dreams as children? Like, are we told the world is something that is not? And I don't know if it's like, it could just be an American thing. Are we told that, like, I want to frame this in a way that makes more sense. Not to you, but to the viewer or the listener. Like, are we told that we can do anything because we want children to reach for the stars? Or are we told that to protect us, and by the time we face the real world, we're not ready? We're not prepared.
I would say the latter if we're talking about me and you when we were kids.
Right.
Because now, I told you I'm into the law of attraction.
Okay.
Now you see schools trying to incorporate like yoga and meditation or teaching kids like what it means to be mindful and whatnot. We didn't have that as a child. Like, well, at least I didn't. We were told like, oh, you know, you can go and be anything, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to say my parents are believers in the law of attraction because they don't really understand what that is. But if you put like the religious terms onto it, like when they told us that, they truly were telling us like, no, you can be anything that you want as long as you work hard, as long as you know, the typical parental stuff or whatever. But I know some people whose parents told them, like, you can be anything that you want to be as long as you make X, Y, and Z and you can pay for your bills. You don't live here anymore. Blah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's different. So I guess I kind of have a different viewpoint on that one.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't think they should teach yoga in schools. I'm not a proponent.
He doesn't like yoga or meditation. I don't like yoga.
I think yoga is religious, and I don't think it should be in schools. Even in India, they don't allow yoga in schools because it's considered religious. They don't allow it in schools. I don't think kids should be sitting there and doing the sun pose. This is Torah. Like, no, we're not doing that in schools. All right, so no, there's no religions in schools. So it's not about Christianity. It's not about Islam. It's not about Buddhism. It's just, I think that schools are schools. If you want kids to be participating in that, you're a parent, you can put your kid in whatever program you want to be in. But I think that everything we put on kids is a mindset that we're trying to teach them, and increasingly people are teaching their own mindset to children. That's just my opinion on the education system.
Versus giving them a choice.
It's not even about giving
or presenting them with all the options, like this is X, Y, and Z.
Well, it's hard to give a child a choice, right? Because they're children. They don't have a matured brain. Their brains haven't even fully developed. It's about presenting objectivity. And then eventually every child will go his way, right? You're not teaching them, giving them an objective choice between good and evil. You teach a kid what's wrong and what's right. But like, as far as like the nuances of life, being objective about it. Because that's how you make a critical thinker. You make a critical thinker, you teach somebody to critical think if you're objective about how you present things to them. But when people are like, this is just what it is, that's when you get a child that, to me, in my mind, is indoctrinated.
Like, okay, so we were talking about, like, I guess us, how we were brought up.
Right.
But, like, these kids now, they're being brought up by social media. You know, I blame social media for everything.
I mean, they're being brought up by social media, absolutely.
And I guess it kind of ties into the whole, like, college thing, because now it's like, you know, well, you can make it big off YouTube if you really put forth an effort. Or you could be, I mean, true. Or you could be an Instagram model, quote unquote. You can be a social media influencer or motivator, whatever. I don't know. I feel as though people just want, I don't know.
That's all right. All right, last chance to talk about it. We're going to move on to the next topic.
No, we can move on.
All right. So here's the thing that I was talking about, and it's something that it's a personal pet peeve of mine. It's something that I deal with, and I'm trying to be more patient about it. But I like to call it walk rage. I think there's actually a stand-up skit on this, right? So it's like, I'm going to present you a situation. Okay. You're running late to work, and you're trying to get on the train, right? And so you're walking towards, you know what I'm saying? You're walking towards the train. You can hear the train coming. And there's a group of people just in front of you taking up the whole sidewalk. Say they're tourists. And they're walking like 2 feet per hour, right? So they're going super slow. They take up the whole sidewalk. You're trying to get around them. You have to practically get hit by a car just to get around them. And then before you do that, there's somebody, you know, who doesn't know how to use the machine to get tickets for the train. And they're sitting there like, what's this button do? And it's like, it's super self-explanatory. And so then you have to wait for them. And by the time you get that, you was like, oh man, the train's getting closer. You put your ticket on there. You go through the turnstile and you go to run up the stairs. And there's somebody walking slowly up the stairs. And then you hear the train pull off and you're like, F! Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's walk rage. It's something you do with, I don't know if it might just be a big city thing.
One is definitely a big city thing. But I definitely understand. We're in Chicago. So your whole situation was talking about CTA in the L.
Right.
Now, I used to get walk rage when I had to take Metra, because Metra, you know, it doesn't come as often as CTA.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, and they leave at Millennium, if they're supposed to leave at 4:38, they leave at 4:38. They might wait for you if you know the conductor, or if they see you coming down the stairs, but usually they're hitting that button at exactly 4:38. So I used to, and having to, you know, because there's different blue or CTA stops all over downtown, but there aren't many Metro stops. So it's like you actually have to time when you leave work so you catch the train. And, you know, I'm a fast walker. I've learned to just what is it? Like zigzag in between
and you
people.
can't do it though sometimes. Like, so I get walk rage when I'm just walking to lunch and someone's staring off into space and they're walking slow in front of me. Or somebody will stop to look at their phone, and I'm like,
I think that's the rudest thing ever. Like, if I have to,
you don't just get to
like,
stop.
People
like, you can't stop when people.
One of my best friends, like, she can't walk and text at the same time. Like, if she gets a text message, she will stop where she is, and I'm like, you can't. There are people behind you. You can't do that. I get walk rage in that situation, but I'm also the type of person. I'm not going to say anything because, one, I don't like anything to take me out of, like, I'm usually always in a positive mood. I don't like anything to take me out of a positive mood.
Right.
So I feel as though if I were to say something, it's not going to be just one thing, because usually, you know, people come back at it and it's like, okay, well, if you want to do that, we could go back and forth. But it's like, let me just zigzag my way around you, like. But there are people who will, like, say something, like...
Yeah, can you move? But no, because it's always, like, it seems like if there's one person, they're, like, moving back and forth, you can't pass them. Like, people always somehow manage to take up the whole sidewalk.
And they can sense someone is behind you, and it's like they were walking straight, but then when you're trying to get around, they all of a sudden,
are in your way.
Damn, bitch, move!
Yeah. It's annoying though, because it's like, because I had an issue, and it's like it'd be two people walking slowly, and you'd be like, how are two people taking up a whole Chicago sidewalk?
But you know what?
They got,
if it's the weekend, I don't get walk rage because I feel as though that's tourist time. You know what I mean? Like, even though like I don't consider Chicago to be a big touristy city. I don't know why people. I mean, come visit Chicago, but I don't.
Hey man,
I'm just.
I
don't want to like talk shit about Chicago, but I don't see why people come here like in the summertime. It's so expensive to fly here.
It's
though.
Pretty though. It's pretty though in the winter though. It's cold though.
Cold,
but it's pretty. It's pretty in the winter.
So, but if you're a tourist and you could tell when someone's a tourist in Chicago.
Right.
However, if I see you dressed up, and I've seen your ass in Daily Center before, now you know how to walk downtown. Like, I'm gonna need for you to move. Like, come on now.
Because it's millions of people, literally. Mm-hmm. And when people move slow, everyone's behind you. Mm-hmm. Everybody's trying to get around you. People that are walking the street, almost walking to a biker. You know what I'm saying? Somebody sitting there on their bike pedaling away with their little tight short shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like they're little amateur Lance Armstrongs in Chicago. But it's annoying though. Like, and that's one of them things that really, really gets to me.
You know where this will be the last thing. You know where I also get walk rage? If I'm coming off the train, because I like to be the first person off the train. I like to be the first person up the ramp. That's just my inner.
You like to be first.
I like to be first. That's just my inner competitiveness. Like, but what really bothers me is when someone gets up there and blocks the door as if they're trying to catch the bus or something, or they're actually gonna walk fast up the ramp. But no, they're just standing there, and it's like they want to take their slow ass time up the ramp. And me personally, like, if you're walking on an incline, it's always better to walk with a fast pace because it's just, you get up there faster. One, you burn more calories, and then if you're out of shape and you're walking slow up a incline, like you're just gonna walk slower. And it's like, can you please just move? Like, please just move out of the way. Like, that's when you'll really see the walk rage for me, I guess.
All right, so going into this the second topic, you sent me this, and I didn't really know what you meant by it, but you got secondhand embarrassment.
I just found out, I just found the term for that, because I always, I get embarrassed when other people do embarrassing things, and I didn't know that's what it's called. It's called secondhand embarrassment. And because I don't, if I'm walking in a crowd of people and I trip or something, I don't get embarrassed because it's like, shit, oh well. But if someone does something, on TV, if they say something stupid or if they do something just super embarrassed, I get, so embarrassed. I go, I cover my face up. I get so embarrassed. And so, I don't even know why I look that up. Is this called something? I know I'm not the only person.
So I'm like that, but it's not embarrassment. I'm like that with games. When they're close, I get nervous. I'm on the team. Like I was in the gym shooting free throws with them. I'm like, oh no, man! I hope you don't miss this shot. And I'm not even nervous about winning. I'm nervous man, that sucks. You got to make that free throw in 30 seconds. Man, ooh, you can do this, bro. It's I feel the pain. But secondhand embarrassment, I feel I used to watch The Office and kind of feel that awkwardness. That's
maybe that's why I still haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. It's like that Scott's Tots and all that.
Also, I feel as though that's why I don't really go to comedy shows, because if you're not funny, I'm just gonna be so embarrassed for you.
I've had that. I felt that in comedy show. I had a dude who was he got up there, he panicked. And so it was one of those open mics, so they turned the lights off on him.
Oh no!
He got off the stage. He started crying and screaming and crying, and then he tried to get back on the stage, and his friends are holding him back. He's like, "No, give me one more try."
See, and at that point, I would have to leave because I would. At that point, I would.
They had to escort him out, and you could hear him crying outside. And I was like, "Oh man!"
I would have to leave.
And the thing was, he was decent when he started. He had a real kind of not a Chris Rock vibe, but a Chris Tucker vibe. And so he's funny, and then he was just Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Jackson, man. And then he was just like, no.
Oh gosh.
They turned the lights off on him.
Oh no.
And I was like,
that's so embarrassing.
And I was getting embarrassed for this dude. And I was just like, man, that sucks. But then but yeah, like you said, like I didn't get embarrassed.
However, I won't get embarrassed if I if I was in the audience at like Showtime at the Apollo and you just sucked. I wouldn't get embarrassed over that because it's like know your skill. Like you know if you got talent or not.
But see, I'm like that with like I got joned on. Like I got roasted at a comedy show for like a long time. Like a long
Wait,
time.
you were in the audience?
Yeah. I got roasted for a long time, man. Because it was one of those like proper comedy clubs where it's like a hole in the wall, and I was standing in the back.
I don't like those.
And I'm a tall dude.
Yeah.
So like everybody who came out was like you in the back, like that dude. And I was just like, dang man, everybody got on me. And the comics that were coming next could hear the comic before getting on me. And so the next comic would come out and just get on me, and I was just like, dang man, like I gotta sit here and just take this because you don't have a mic. You don't have a mic. Like you just, it is what it is. And I'm not one of those people who's gonna go back and forth.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
All right, so right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow up from last week. All right, so here's the spiel. We were talking about the World Cup. We were talking about immigration. We were talking about France. So
No, you were talking about Trevor Noah. What he said.
Right, but this has to do with the World Cup.
Oh, gotcha.
So everything he said had to do with the World Cup. So he was talking about essentially how Africa won the World Cup. Mm-hmm. And I was saying back over there that like what you're saying goes against kind of like the immigration principles that people are trying to teach in France and all this other stuff around the world. And when you say that, you could be saying it in a situation like immigrants are great, but it's coming off like, no, we're really African and not French, which is what they're saying. But the anti-immigrants are saying, you're African and you're not French. So I'm like, oh, you're bolstering their point, if anything else. I don't know, but you kind of agree with what Trevor Noah was saying. So he was telling me, you agree with what he was saying in his rebuttal to the French ambassador who wrote him a letter. Mm-hmm. So what was your stance on that?
Well, first talk about what the French... Did we talk about what the French ambassador said?
The French ambassador was basically saying what I was saying. Because when we talked about this last week, the French ambassador hadn't said anything.
Oh, the
French ambassador was saying, like, these people come from all over the world, but when people come here, it's not like America where we hyphenate things. They're all French, and they always will be French. So we're not going to say, like what we say African-American. They're not going to say French, African French, or whatever. They're going to say they're French. And he's saying that, like, we accept everybody, and when you become French, you are French. You're one of our countrymen.
So the thing that Trevor Noah, in his response to that, he was saying how just because you now are considered a French citizen does not mean your any other parts of you no longer exist. That's what Trevor Noah.
But the thing about Trevor Noah, I'm gonna push back on this. So the thing about Trevor Noah is he's in a defensive position. When you're in a defensive position, you're gonna point out things about a country, and you're gonna try to like go around the argument, and you're gonna make it a straw man argument, right? Mm-hmm. So what the French guy was not saying that they weren't African. He was saying that they were French. What Trevor Noah was saying was that they were not French and that they were African. And so he wasn't. Well, he didn't directly address them being French. He was saying Africa won that World Cup, and so he put up that picture of Africa handing the World Cup to France. So while you're saying that they are not shirking their identities, that's not what the meme or what you said had to deal with. So it's fine if the conversation just started with what the French ambassador said, then Trevor Noah would have a point. Mm-hmm. But what you said before that kind of negates. It kind of negates the point you're trying to make after. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but because that's my cousin.
Yes, your cousin. Yeah.
In my head.
Uh-huh.
I feel as though I just lost it. It just left my head.
It's there. It's your cousin.
It is there.
He's your cousin.
What did he say?
At the barbecue, right?
What?
The barbecue, the family barbecue.
Oh.
With cousin Noah.
No, what was I about to? I was about to say
ribs,
something.
pig
No,
feet.
I don't see him eating pig feet.
Everybody loves pig's feet. How you gonna do that? Everybody loves pig's feet.
Do they?
Neck bone, ham hock.
Okay, neck bones, yeah. Pig feet, no.
Have you ever had pig feet?
You know my family's country, but
have you ever had pig feet?
No.
Did you not have it because it was called pig feet? And if they called it,
I didn't have it because my parents ain't never
steak,
make it.
If it was called steak, you probably would have eaten it.
Actually, I think I have had pig feet before because we used to go down the Mississippi all the time.
I like pig's feet.
I don't even remember what I was about to say.
You got it. I believe in you.
Oh, I feel as though when he first said the Africa won the World Cup, he said that as a joke. And that was it. Because when he first said it on his show, that's all he said. He didn't say, like, go into, it deeper. The French ambassador is the one that was like, no, excuse me, Trevor Noah, actually, blah, blah, blah. So then that's when he had to go and explain what he said. No, go to YouTube.
Continue your point.
No, I want you to watch the video.
No, I'm not going to watch the whole video. I'm just showing... Because here's the thing. Like, the thing is, when you make a joke, there's always a political point to it, especially when you're on a political pundit show.
Where's the... I didn't actually see it.
Here it is right here.
Oh.
This is the thing he put up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So... Because this is what ended up happening. You start having a conversation that you don't want to have. So they're saying...
And I don't think he really wanted to have that conversation.
That's what I'm saying. He started something, and then... Because I was even reading the YouTube comments, and everybody was on the French ambassador side. Because they're like, yo, look, dude, like... You kind of said it in a way where you were almost... we get what you were trying to say, but it didn't come off the way you wanted it to.
Initially.
Well, no, there were people... No, it was a bunch of French people who were replying. And no, in his response. There were French people like, yo, my parents are from... Tanzania, I consider myself French. When you said that, I felt like you were saying that I wasn't really French. Like, people were saying that in the comments.
And that's the thing, towards the end of the video, the response, he was saying, I was never saying they weren't French. All I'm saying is they too are also part of the African community.
Right, but see, here's the thing. Like, you're trying to say, because at the end of the day, you can backtrack, because this is backtracking, right? When you backtrack, you essentially said that Africa handed in the World Cup. So it was Africa's World Cup. And now you have people saying, well, Africa can't win a World Cup, and it took French people training them and all this other stuff. So you're having a conversation now, which is going to get quite racist. If you want to take it there, you're going to open a door and a can of worms that people don't need to be having. It's going to go back to this conversation of, do you even have the resources? If you were in your home country, would you have the resources? Would you even be playing soccer? Like, people are having those kind of conversations. So when you started, you're going to...
I don't think he expected, like, France to say
because,
anything.
I mean... When I saw it, I was like, yo...
If like, just regular people, like, were making comments, I don't think he would have, like... had to...
Well, no, Jon Stewart replied to regular people because when he said Chicago deep dish pizza is nasty, like, a bunch of Chicagoans are like, you're not welcome to this city. Like, he had to come out and publicly apologize for that. Like, he's like, I'm sorry. He had to bring on somebody...
my comment about deep dish pizza.
I mean, if you're from Chicago, you can talk about the pizza all you want. But if you're not from Chicago, don't talk about deep dish pizza. It just is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have a right not to like deep dish pizza if you're not from Chicago. But if you're from Chicago. But if you're not from Chicago, I don't want to hear none of that. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next topic because I don't want this thing to run too long. All right, so our next topic is going to be James Gunn. Man, so the director of Guardians of the Galaxy was fired by Disney for tweets that he posted 10 years ago. 6 to 10 years ago, I heard. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he writes these tweets and Disney hires him anyway, right? And so people are like, these are very offensive tweets. And we'll get into what the tweets said later. I won't read them, but I'll give you the gist of what they said. And so he's people are saying that, you know, Disney hired him, so they knew what he said. He made an apology 6 years ago about the tweets, so Disney shouldn't fire him. And I'm like, here's the thing. Let's say there's a backlash and Disney did know about the tweets. Does Disney really want to be in the position to say I hired a guy who made pedophile jokes? And I knew he did that. Because that's what kind of position you're putting Disney in. Like, does Disney really want to be like, yeah, we hired a guy who made pedophile jokes. Let me defend him. Because now Disney's going to have to defend him. Or they're going to have to defend that decision. Or they could stop the conversation before it gets that far. Because if they do stand by him, they're going to have to admit that that's what they did. Or did they hire him and say, you know what? We're going to hire you, but if any time it becomes too heavy for us, we're going to let you go. So it could have been one of those hirings where it's like, yeah, we're gonna hire you.
Do you honestly think? I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you honestly think these big time companies, corporations, and not even like, well, companies and corporations, do you think that when they're hiring someone, they go back and like, oh, let me see what this person posted?
They definitely did, because he apologized before he got hired. He apologized right before he was announced as director. One, he did that, and two, they're a children's company. Disney is very children's friendly. Yeah. And three, his movies, the movie he did before.
I was kind of hoping that they didn't know about it.
The movie,
before hiring him.
No, it makes him look. It makes him. So people were saying Disney shouldn't have fired him because they knew about it, and I'm like, no, they should have fired him because now we're going to be in more hot water. If people were like, why would you hire somebody who would make those kind of tweets? But here's the thing: he made a movie called Super before, right? And the movie Super, it's like people get raped in that movie. I started the movie and I was like, I can't watch this shit. It's like violent, it's vulgar. I was like, I can't watch this. And so that's the director they hired for Guardians of the Galaxy. Right? And so the tweets that he has, when a lot of people are talking about them, they're talking about the ones that aren't as offensive. They're clearly jokes, right? He's like, oh, what if a tree did this, this, and that? And you're like, that's a really horrible joke. But if you go through all of the tweets, some of those stuff is just statements. Yeah. Like, some of that stuff is just statement, like horrible stuff he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I'm surprised that the FBI hasn't investigated this dude.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff he was saying was beyond, like, the pale of a normal human mind to even think about. Because he was like, well, I was trying to be a shock jock. I'm like, I know a lot of people who say shocking things. Charlamagne says shocking things. He don't say stuff like that. Well, now he's starting to say some crazy stuff. But like, he's saying stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is beyond the pale of anything. Because you know me, I'm like really into comics. I'm really into Comic-Con. And I'm listening to different podcasters. I'm really into movies. I'm listening to different movie celebrities. I'm listening to all these people like, yo, he said it 10 years ago. You have to believe in forgiveness. He said he's a different person. I'm like, so he gets to determine if he's a different person? We don't get to do an investigation to find out if he's a different person? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know how many people do bad things and be like, I've changed now. And then they keep doing it? Like, come on, man.
Should they have fired him? Yes, to cover their... Like you said, to cover their own asses. Like,
we should have never hired him.
But because that they did, to prevent any further backlash, it's like, oh, nope, we gotta get rid of this. Like,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I'm sitting there like, all right, we got a dude who's joking about doing horrible things to children. He's joking about women getting raped. Like, horrible jokes about women getting raped. We're talking about, this dude is saying things that are like, you're sitting there like, you know the Bible verse? It goes, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you can't speak anything that wasn't first in your heart.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Nothing comes out of your mouth that wasn't in your heart.
Exactly.
And it's like, not only that, but you typed it on the page.
I was about to say, one, you thought that. You went to your computer like, oh, let me publicly tweet this.
Right.
With no context.
And then you sent it. And you did it. And like, it's a series of tweets. It's not one tweet.
Exactly. And that's
it's like a pattern of behavior.
That's the thing. Exactly.
It's a pattern of behavior. And I'm like, yo. Like, at the same time, it's like, and the thing is, it comes down to this liberal, conservative, whatever. Like, you want to see, the thing is, being black, we had our heroes. And we didn't say nothing. They took down our heroes, right? Cosby did great things, but he was also a pervert. And we didn't say nothing. They took him down. You know what?
Please don't get me started on that.
That's what I'm saying. They took down our heroes. And now the people they like are getting taken down, and now they want to say something.
Did you see that they want him to register as a sexually violent predator?
I mean, it's here's the thing. They took down our people. And they don't want to take it. Like when, what's homeboy's name? Jimmy Kimmel. When he was going back and forth. I think he was going back and forth with Fox News guy. And the Fox News guy brought up a clip of this dude dressed in blackface. And nobody said anything about it. His network didn't say anything about it. And you're like, yo, there was a rumor of Paula Deen saying the N-word. Because she's conservative. No one even heard her say it. It was just a rumor. She said 20 years ago I used the N-word. They fired her. They fired her. So she used the N-word in the 80s and they fired her. And you got to do this dude who on his last show that he had, he dressed up in blackface. You got artists who literally like standing up for like pedophiles and stuff like that. And I'm not saying him, but you got artists that would stand up for pedophiles, stand up for people doing horrible things. But when it's one of their own, they defend them. Unless you become completely indefensible. When it's one of ours, they throw them to the wolves. And when it's conservative, they throw them to the wolves. And now everybody's want to get on this dude's side and say forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. What about that dude who's otherwise upstanding and he might have said something inappropriate to a chick 40 years ago and he still get fired. He still lose his job. You wasn't talking forgiveness then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You wasn't saying that was 40 years ago. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
All them dudes that did stuff 40 years ago, 50 years ago, people talking about, you wasn't talking about forgiveness then. But now you want to talk about forgiveness when it's your hero, it's somebody you like comics, so it's like, yo, it's cool. I like comics. He can talk about all this nasty shit stuff he wants to. Like, come on, man. No, don't get me started on that. Because it's just like, it's too many children getting abused. There's too many children getting sold into sex slavery for people to make jokes about that kind of stuff and to make specific graphic jokes about it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It'd be one thing if it was like a passive joke about sex slavery, but specific graphic jokes.
Multiple.
As lawyers, we would say that shows intent. You know what I'm saying? If I was in court and I had to argue that this dude was a predator, I would say that shows intent. And I'd be like, yo, you got to deny this dude's bail. Like, if he got caught with something, deny this dude's bail because of his tweets. It shows intent that he's going to do something. That he has a history of wanting to harm children.
Just because of the detail of some of them.
Insane. And all these people defending them, I'm like, yo, if you want to defend them, read those tweets out loud.
I was just about to say that I don't like the celebrities that are defending him. I feel as though they only saw the bad joke tweets.
Yeah.
Versus all of them. Because it's like, weren't you part of the Me Too movement? Like, some of his supporters, like, wait a minute, time out. Like, okay, like, I'm sure you can find another director to do this movie. Like, there are a lot of
Disney's in good hands, man.
There's a lot of talent out there. Exactly, there's a lot of talent out there. Like, I don't know.
It's insane. All right, so we're gonna call this next segment because we're gonna move right along because we're not gonna dwell too long on James Gunn because that just the whole subject just disgusts me. But we'll move on to some more fun topics.
He looks pervy too.
He does look pervy. He looks really pervy.
Like, yeah.
And we know that there was like allegations of pedophilia in Hollywood, and for you to even talk about that stuff, it seems not you but him to even talk about that stuff. It seems like there's something going on.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people are trying to defend him because they're like, yo, because a lot Hollywood defends its secrets until like one person came out and said, yo, this is definitely what happened. Those people were defending it. They defend that culture, and they were doing it until one person went on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So all the women saying that, all the men saying that, all of them were defending those. So they're giving them awards, and now they're like, I didn't know. And I'm like, how you be in Hollywood for 40 years and not know? 40 years and not know. Because it comes down to, like, ultimately what it comes down to is, like, I watched this show called Glow. And there's an episode where this Hollywood executive tries to make a pass on the main character. And she turns him down and she runs out of the place. And when she goes to her friend, she's like, yeah, our show's getting canceled. She's like, why? Because I wouldn't sleep with them. And she's like, you didn't sleep with them? All you had to do, you sleep with everyone else. Why can't you just sleep with them? And I feel like that's what Hollywood was. The people, everybody knows. Like, I'm listening to some stuff, and they're like, yo, and people are just talking and passing. I listen to, like, podcasts and stuff, and it's like, yo, I didn't want to be alone with this director. And this is before the Me Too. They're like, oh, yeah, we all know. We don't really want to be alone with him. Like, everybody knows. They know who to be around with. They know who to not be around with. Everything else is just, people trying to save face and say that they didn't know because women didn't have each other's back, right? Like, these women didn't have each other's back. Like, I'm not saying not all women, but a lot of women didn't have each other's back. And so now it looks bad as a woman to let another woman go through this. Or to be like, yup, those are just the ropes. You got to pay your dues. Do you know what I'm saying? For these older women to do it to these younger women. And so, Hollywood is this preachy, we're not for this. We don't like religion because it's preachy and it makes people feel bad. We don't like this because... X, Y, and Z, Meryl Streep, I don't like fighting because of this, and that. It's not art. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time you sitting there, man, don't get me started on that. I don't want to, let me not start. All right, so the next topic is my ratchet segment, and we're going to talk about, your boy Tekashi 6ix9ine first, and then we're gonna get into this R. Kelly I admit, right? Alright, so over the weekend, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he reported a story where he was jumped, he was kidnapped, and then they went to his baby mom's house and they got money from her. They got his chains and all that. So we're just reporting on that. Like overall, like originally, I didn't believe the story. You know what I'm saying? Because he's known for trolling. A lot of people didn't believe it. But I'm listening to Hot 97 today, and you know what's his name? Ebro was talking about they had a connect who verified it. So I'm like more likely to believe it because Ebro didn't believe it. And so the next day he said, I talked to a connect who said, yeah, this did happen. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, Ebro was reluctantly saying it. And I don't even listen to Hot 97, no disrespect, but you know, I just kind of listen to like Steve Harvey or something, you know, something more mellow, man. Everybody's just acting so tough, man. Everybody got to be tough, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to be tough. You know my problem with the black community and gang culture, right? So, you know, when I was studying African American studies, right? So I was trying to get I wanted this degree in African American studies, and ultimately I never declared, but I have the coursework because I was like, if I declare this degree, are they going to discriminate against me? You know, when I try to get a job and I put the degree there as another degree. But anyway, so I took the coursework, and one of the things we would always talk about is why we're misperceived in the media and stuff like that. And one of the reasons is racism, obviously, systematic racism, institutional racism, personal racism, right? The racism of personal people. The other one is that as a culture, not as a whole culture, but as a pop culture, we have embraced gang culture. People who are from the suburbs, they want to dress like they really gangbang. If we talk about music, they want to dress like they really gangbang. They want like everybody. So we present this masculine image that's violent, right? So we're gonna walk around however we see people in gangs walk, we want to imitate that, we emulate that. And so that has been problematic in our community because then people misconstrue us. And so now when people see a black man, not only do they have the personal bias, but they have the bias of you. They are perceiving what they saw on TV, and then you are trying to move like a thug. You're trying to move like a gangster. And gangsters move in a way to get respect. So if you walking like that in the office, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit! Like, we got a problem!" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's an issue that we have in our community. Is that our fascination with gang culture, and you know other communities have it. You know, it's in the Latin community. White communities do it, but it's more that mobster type. That's more the suit and tie type stuff. But for us, it's like because so many black men have been to prison, so many black people have been to prison. We incorporate prison culture into our culture, gang culture into our culture, even when we are not associated with it. And so that's problematic in our mindset and how we present ourselves. So that's just an aside. But yeah, no, the Tekashi 6ix9ine thing, you know, we wish him well. I don't want any bad things to happen to him. I hope, you know, he just needs to get his act together, stop trying to challenge people.
He really needs to get his act together.
He can't come to Chicago and do that because some boys in Chicago do not play.
Did we talk about it being an inside job? Because I still think it's an inside job.
I mean, we're not going to speak on that right now because, that's just some stuff that they're going to deal with, the inner workings of stuff that, you know. And the only thing I know is what I read on the internet. So I'm not going to talk about that. But the next thing we're going to move on to, and I know you got some opinions on this. R. Kelly dropped a new song. It's 19 minutes long, roughly thereabouts. And so on this song, R. Kelly, it's called I Admit or something like that.
I Admit.
And tell me about it. You listened to like 14 minutes. You didn't get all the way through.
I made it to 14 minutes. And, I mean, he's just basically like admitting to like just you know how like there's just like rumors and gossip and like, yeah, I admit that. Like, he talks about, like, yeah, I can't read for shit. I admit that. When I presented at some award show, I couldn't read the teleprompter. I admit that. And I'm just like, Okay, but what about the good stuff? Like, what do you really admit to? Because we already know that you can't read. And he talked about how he sat down with Miss Wendy Williams, and admitted to her everything about, all of these sexual allegations and cult-like behavior and all of that stuff. I don't know, maybe the last few minutes he admitted to doing something, but he didn't really flat out say, like, yeah, they're underage. I admit to feeling on them, touching on them, blah, 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 and all this stuff. But I just feel as though he shouldn't have even done that. Like,
it's like that O.J. Simpson, if I did it.
Yeah.
It's just like, why are you even poking the bear? Like, why you even go that far?
Like, he talked, and one of the lines was like, y'all talk about sex cult and something. Like, go look up the actual definition and get back to me. I didn't really understand that line because, I mean, based off of the things that former women who have been in his quote-unquote sex cult, like, I feel as though it's a sex cult, but he talks about how he felt when Spotify took him off of, the playlist or whatever, and just like how it was unfair, and I'm just like...
Here's the thing. See, this is what me and my guy were talking about yesterday. We were like, yo, the thing about R. Kelly is, the dude is just, he does a lot of evil stuff. And the thing is, I don't believe he's innocent. Now, I'm going to say that, like, if you talk about O.J. Simpson, I know I'm going to get backlash for this. You can't prove to me that O.J. Simpson did it. And I know a lot of black people are like, yo, O.J. did it now. But back then, they were, like, trying to hold it down because black people were being unfairly treated. But, like, when I looked at the evidence, because I was in, like, 5th grade when it happened. Mm-hmm. But, like, when I look at the evidence now as a lawyer, I'm like, yo, you can't definitively tell me this dude did it beyond a reasonable doubt.
As an attorney, I haven't actually, like, read the entire transcript.
Like look at the evidence.
I want to.
You can't tell me that this dude definitively did it. Because it's like, I think, the thing about Johnny Cochran's a smooth dude.
Smooth.
He's smooth.
Smooth.
Boy, smooth. But like,
although I will say, I did have a black professor who, like, he was just like, yeah, back in the day, yeah, Johnny Cochran couldn't have touched us, blah, 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 and all this stuff. But anyways, I wonder what he's up to. Continue on.
He's teaching, and Johnny Cochran was out there getting that millie. That's what was happening. He was teaching, Johnny Cochran was getting that millie.
Continue.
All right, so,
what were we
talking about R. Kelly.
Yeah,
But see, the thing about R. Kelly is this. R. Kelly, to me, he does these evil things, but the man is persuasive. He can make music that puts you in a trance. You know what I'm saying? Even, like, as much as I don't really want to listen to his music and dance to it, I'm a Chicagoan now. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, damn. Because I was on a boat trip, and then, you know what I mean? They had, like, a dance floor. You know what I'm saying? So we're on there.
Stepping?
It was like a party boat. No, when it started winding down, and they started playing the R. Kelly, even the R. Kelly joint where it's like, hands in the air. Yeah. That joint is jumping, though. I'm like, yo, why? Like, why is someone jumping, man? This dude can make music where you don't even realize you're moving to it. You're like, man, I ain't gonna dance to this. And you realize your shoulders are rocking. You're like, man, this man is evil. Like, why does he make music? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, it's like the devil in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Jesus was in the desert for 40 days. It's like you went without music for 40 days and someone played some R. Kelly. They were like, if you liketh music, dance to this R. Kelly. And you're like, no, why? You try not to move to it.
I wonder what's going to happen.
Man, they're not going to get him. That's the thing. They're never going to get this dude. We always going to know he's evil. And maybe when he's 80, they're going to do a Bill Cosby on him. But see, the thing is, Bill Cosby did more for the community than R. Kelly. All R. Kelly does, and everybody I know who's around my age was like, yeah, R. Kelly used to throw parties, and like, he hollered at me once. Like, everybody has a personal story. Everybody from the Chicago suburbs has a personal story with R. Kelly.
But as far as like, oh my gosh, I can't like.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So that was my cat. She like jumped over her shoulder. All right. We gotta move on. We gotta
Okay.
wrap this up. All right. So the next topic is gonna be a topic that started with one celebrity not paying child support. Tell me about this.
Oh, why I even thought of that?
Because this is a child support topic. This is about should people go to jail for failing to pay child support, and this has to do with the specific.
Stevie J.
Stevie J. What did he do?
Well, he didn't pay his child support.
To who? Who's his baby mom's?
Which I feel as though he has like multiple ones.
So how much did he owe?
Like 1.2 million.
Oof.
And he was looking at jail time.
Remember that time? You know that song? Ooh.
Young and May? Oh my.
No, not Young and May. It was a song. Oh man, it was like Jagged Edge or something. Whoa. They used to say that. Whoa. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, what are they doing? Is that like a masturbatory noise? Like,
it's a horrible noise.
I tell you, I was
for
at
that.
man, let me talk about it. Cause I feel like somebody at work gonna listen to this, but like, I feel like I was in this weird situation at work, and somebody was, making those weird noises. Anyway,
he was like he needed a fix, and that's why he did that in the bathroom.
Man, I was like, what is happening right now? Do you ever know? There's ever times you wish that like there was just like random set of earplugs just hanging on like the bathroom stall. Like one of them is when people like strain and you feel like they might just like.
I always feel as though elevator music should be playing in a bathroom,
Like coming from the toilet seat, like
yeah,
because you shouldn't hear people go. And I'm like, yo, bro,
like
take some stool softener, because if it's coming out that tough.
Yeah,
You're definitely it's gonna be a bloody toilet tissue. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna be like heavy Dracula blood. It's gonna be like spotty blood, where it's like you didn't have enough fiber.
Yeah,
It's just too nutty.
but elevator music should always be playing because you know how sometimes
That's
people,
sandpaper poo.
you know, how some people can't start peeing if it's super quiet and you know there's someone.
Yeah,
because
it's like that tinkle 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 sound.
Yeah. Especially but sometimes like if I go in the bathroom with my headphones in, then it's like I don't care because I mean, first of all, I don't do all that.
If you have to poop and
If
there's
you
any
have
separation,
to.
if there's any separation in your small intestines, that stuff's gonna make a fart noise when it comes out. Unless it's one long stool.
Let's be clear though.
Okay.
If I can hold it, I will hold it because I just like to be in the comfort of my own home. I don't want to have to layer the toilet with like 5 different.
Oh, you're the person who gets it like the toilet stuffed up, huh?
No, I don't. I put the seat covers. I put like 3 seat covers.
Man, those
things are so thin.
No,
those things
That's
are
why I
so...
always smelled in the office because those things were always overflowing.
No, that was coming from the men's room.
No, I mean the men's room smelled bad too because guys are bad aimers. It's like, yo, you have to aim. It's like when you get a certain age, you just get tired of aiming or something. It's just like let it come out.
There were some older people there too. Yeah,
it's like they don't aim, and then they get older men. And no disrespect, older white men like to talk while they're peeing.
That is a fact.
How do you know this?
I was thinking older white women.
They'll turn and talk to you while they're peeing, and I'm like, if your hand is on your wee wee, please don't make eye contact with me and tell jokes. Like, it's just weird. And there's this one dude who used to be super weird, and like nobody in the office liked him. And so he would always be on his little Bluetooth. You know what I'm saying? Don't call him by name, but he's always be on his little Bluetooth.
Oh, for where
homeboy.
we were?
You know what I mean? He used to always yell at the women in the office. He's like mad sexist. He used to always, but he was like an older cat, and he'd be on there like on his little Bluetooth. And he would go into the stall. Like one time he went to the stall, and like my guy's telling me this story. He's like, "Yo, man, I go in the bathroom. I open the first stall, and there's this massive dump, like the biggest dump I've ever seen in my life, right?" So he's like, "I close the stall." And I go to the next one, and I pee, and they come out, and at the same, this dude is like sitting on the windowsill in the bathroom, like why when I'm doing all this, and he's like having a conversation on the phone, and he's like, this is awkward, and he's by the stall, so he don't want to pee at this. He's by the urinal, so he don't want to pee at the urinal, so he goes in the stall, he sees the crap, goes to the next stall, it's free, he takes a piss, you know what I'm saying? He goes to wash his hands. He washes his hands, the guy goes, oh, sorry about that, ha 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 ha, I'll go flush now. So the dude had basically taken a phone call as he took a dump, didn't like flush it, and just left the dump in there so he could take a phone call.
Let me just say, and I think we've had this conversation before, there are so many women who will go and take a private call, and you can tell that they're waiting until the conversation is done so they can like either finish peeing or flush the toilet. If I walk in there and you're on the phone, I'm not holding it, because one, you shouldn't be on the phone on the toilet. I'm not gonna pee softer.
Keep flushing it. Keep flushing it so people know.
Yes.
Flush it 3 times.
Yes. Let them know you are in a public bathroom.
You taking a let them know.
Let them know. And I might just say, was that you? Just cause.
Do that.
Just cause.
Do that.
Because
Ruin
I
that
just
business
think like
transaction.
because I have heard like very personal calls and business calls on the toilet. And it's like, now you know. Are you having a phone interview right now? Like, what are you doing? Like,
this dude's sitting there. Yeah. I worked for the law firm for 10 years. I'm like, yo, bro.
Why are we on this topic?
Yeah, we was talking about paying for child support. All right.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't even know how many years Stevie J had all this back child support. He has a lot of kids, and I want to say like 6, but maybe more, and they're grown. Uh-huh. And I don't watch Love and Hip Hop anymore, or I don't even know if it was on that show, because, you know, he had a spin-off show. So I don't know which, me either. But I don't know I don't know which show it was on, but he had like some of his adult kids who are over the age of 18 who would, like the ones who did not get the financial support when they were coming up. Uh-huh. He brought these same kids on the show, basically like, yeah, man, I don't know why your mama trying to do that to me. You know, I love y'all. I love my kids. I take care of my kids. Don't I give y'all clothes? You know the basics.
Right.
And it's like he's talking to these grown ass kids now, and it's like you're talking to them now and they're adults. Like, you should have talked to them back in the day when. But anyways, back to it. Should there be jail time
for failing to pay child support?
Failure to pay child support. And I looked up Illinois law, because I don't like family law. That's not my thing. So I had to look it up.
Right.
And for Illinois, you can get up to 6 months. Actually, did you know Illinois has like one of the oldest child support laws in the country? Other states
I don't know what that says about Chicago.
I know, right? Other states have adopted like other provisions for it, but Illinois still has the same. Basically, they leave everything up to the judge. I'm sorry, can you hear that? Basically, they leave everything up to the judge. For like the first kid, it's like 20% or something like that off of your income, and whether or not 20%. Your net income, whether or not you can, and that's for the first child, whether or not you get back child support, you basically have to show that, this kid was yours. You knew that the kid was yours from the time paternity was established. And they look at the non-custodial parents' financial situation. Right. And if we're talking about Stevie J, he has made a lot of money.
I don't even know what he does.
He's like a producer. He's produced like.
I know he's like been around since Biggie, but I don't know what he does.
Like now.
I just don't know what he does. I know he's been around. Like, I've heard the name, but I don't know.
He produces music. He makes music.
So he
he's
in the studio like making it sound better. 100% what he does, or is he just like?
Yeah, he did. I feel like he did. Name a popular Mariah Carey song. I feel as though he did that. I forget which one it was.
So the popular Mariah Carey song.
I want to say is Honey, maybe.
Honey's old.
I know. He's been around. Like he's been around. He has
man.
he has made like millions of dollars. So what I don't understand. I mean, of course, bad financial decisions and whatnot, but
tricking. That's what we call it. He was tricking.
Yeah.
When he went
but he was actually looking at jail time. I want to say either earlier this year or last year, and the judge decided no jail time. And even then, I don't even know if they were garnishing his wages because they're supposed to garnish your wages, and I'm like, okay, I can
garnish your wages. Sounds like something for us. If you're making a paycheck based off an album sales and stuff like that, you're probably not even making weekly income. You're probably making money like getting a bag. That's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like after every significant thing you do, you get a bag.
I'm about to look up his net worth.
It's never right because they include assets and stuff like that. They don't talk about liquid. So a lot of people have assets that are worth that much, but like when you talk about liquid, they're not actually worth that much.
Well, right now this is saying an estimate of $5 million.
Yeah.
2018.
So if he paid $1 million, he paid what? 20% of his net worth. That's insane. Anyway,
but he has like a lot of kids. But anyways, should
he
there
don't like
be
to pull out, man?
Should there?
Some people don't feel like they should have to pull out. It's very entitled. Pull out me? No, I don't pull out. I don't pull out. That's not me. I don't do that thing. Okay, I was just, be pregnant for 9 months and give birth to this child.
At first, I was like, yes, there should be jail
or he busts
time.
quick. Or he has very, very powerful pre-com.
That is also a thing.
He could be shooting
because
kids in his pre-com.
some people don't realize all that little,
I wonder if any of these kids are athletes because I feel like if you have a really strong ejaculate, that you have athlete children or surfers or strong swimmers, so they got to be athletes, right? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because in order for your ejaculate to get to the egg, they have to basically it's like Guts. You remember the show on Nickelodeon Guts? Mm-hmm. We got to get to the top of the little mountain thing. I think it's called a crag, and they're dropping boulders and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's like the vagina. The vagina's dropping boulders and and then you get into the cervix. So you get past the cervix, and that's like the little smoke thing that they have on there. And then people they're wrestling, so it's not even just Guts. It's also American Gladiators. And then when you get past all of that, it's Ninja Warrior. And so we're technically everyone who exists on this world is Ninja Warrior champs. So we all want you want it you co-want it because you're a twin. But I was number one. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm getting bored.
I was number one. Vernon was just
But you didn't Heisman right. You gotta do the Heisman to make sure you're the only one. See, when I was born, I Heisman this because I seen another one come. I said, "Yo, this is me. I got this. I'm about to be born." You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be a zygote. I got this zygote game on lock. I said, I'm about to multiply. My cell's about to multiply, cuz. I got this game on lock.
I changed my mind.
Okay.
There shouldn't be jail time.
I think there should be. Not a lot.
Only because our prison system is so messed up.
Yeah,
and it's you go in there hey, what you in here for?
I didn't pay my baby mom because I didn't feel like it was mine.
But the thing is, he knew. But the thing is, he knew those were his.
But that's
kids.
Supposed to be. Here's the thing, though. It's supposed to be, something that makes you. It's like a deterrent. You know what I mean? It makes you think I don't want to go to jail. But so many dudes don't think it'll happen to them. You know what I mean? They're
but it's very rare that it actually happens. Because you're at max. At least in Illinois, you're looking at up to 6 months. 6 months isn't that long of a time.
6 months is a long time.
I mean, 6 months is a long time.
It's not 30 years, but
if
you was just living your everyday life and someone's yo, you got to be in this box for 6 months.
Would you rather go to jail for 6 months, or would you rather them garnish your wages?
I'd rather them garnish my wages. 100%.
Okay, yeah, me too.
100%. I was like, oh, well, I guess I just lost 20% of my wages.
In Illinois and Max, they only do like 25%. Like they
Right,
don't
but think
take
about it,
all
though.
of it.
Yeah, but
they
you
leave
take-
you with like the bare
You get
minimum.
so when you get
can, like, buy
34%
food.
to the government, and it's 25%. So you basically they're taking over half of your paycheck.
Yeah, like you're
But I
left
take
with,
that over
like
being
you
in a
can
box.
get some.
I take that over being in a box.
Okay, yeah, me too. But I feel as though
I don't even put my cat in a box. She freak out.
we don't put Sassy in a box. Sassy is my dog.
All right, so we're gonna move on. All right,
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, yeah. All right, so we're gonna get into that good stuff. All right,
What's the good stuff?
This is our next to last topic. This is relationship stuff, man. You know people like that relationship ish, man. We gotta talk about it. All right, let me introduce this topic because a friend sent this to me. She's like, "Yo, say this on air. Tell me what topic you want to do." She's like, "Tell me." No, I said, "Tell me what topic you want to do." She said, "I want to do this topic. You say it on air." So the topic is, why is the epitome of happiness in our society marriage?
Well, I guess the first question is it?
I'm with you on that because I don't think it is right now,
I don't think it is either.
but I think it is. I both don't think it is and I do think it is, depending on where you live. If you're in a big city or if you're in a small town. And then you got to go a step further and say, is it just our society or is it the world? Since the inception of the world, coupling has been, since we got out of the, because most of the people who were polygamist had power and stature, right? But most people only had one wife. Like you couldn't just be like, hey, yo, man, I'm a lowly farmer. Let me go get 7 wives. It was mostly people of stature that could do that, right? So, like, coupling has been a part of our society. It's in the animal kingdom. Coupling is a part of the animal kingdom. Finding somebody to spend your life with.
I don't think, like, marriage itself is the epitome of happiness. I feel as though everything that you do to get to that point so other people can see, oh, I found the one, I'm happy. So let me go ahead and post this. So, I got to post the proposal. I got to post, like, my, like, wedding diary. Like, I'm planning. I got to post, like, everything. Like, oh, this is, like, the actual ceremony. This is the choreographed dance we're doing for the reception. Like, look at us, we're so in love, we're happy, this is what we're portraying. But I blame social media for everything. I think people always want to put stuff on social media so they can appear that they're happy, whereas they a lot of people probably are still cheating on their spouses.
Very grim look at things. All right, so this is what I'm gonna say. I agree with a lot of what you said, but I agree that it happens after. I think the epitome of happiness in our society should be marriage. And I think about that, it should be love. Sorry. It shouldn't be marriage, it should be love.
Mm-hmm. Now that I agree with.
Let me correct that. And the reason why is because of the old proverb. I don't even know if this is a biblical proverb, but it's an old saying, and it says, to love another person is to see the face of God. Like, you can't truly love yourself until you learn to care for others. That's why it says they say like the 3 things, the 3 gifts, the 3 spiritual gifts we have in this world are faith, hope, and charity, right? We change charity to love because it makes us feel better to say love. We love somebody. But when I say love, I don't talk about just love like as a marriage, love charity, like loving another person, being able to give to other people. And a marriage is a part of that charity. And so being able to actually care about someone else and to care about something else other than yourself is like there's no greater form of happiness and satisfaction. Like when you go get a job, when you become famous, when you do all these things, it's for ourselves. It's for self. It's for like the gratification of knowing you achieved your dream, the gratification of all this, but without someone to reflect upon. If you're the sun without the moon to reflect your light upon, then you just feel empty. You feel lonely. And then we've seen that with celebrities. I got all this stuff, but I battled depression. The Rock said he battled depression. Like all these people are talking about all these things they achieved, but without. And then I was listening to somebody talk about like he got famous, and he's like, man, you know what I wish before I became famous? He said, I wish that I had met my wife or got married before I became famous.
Who said that?
I mean, I will talk about it off air because I don't want to cause any controversy. He's one of his controversial figure. But he said something decent because I was listening to some like conservative podcasts and stuff like that. So It's not like I'm a conservative, but I like to I get topics and stuff like that. I'll listen to a conservative podcast. I'll listen to like a conspiracy theorist. I just listen to a bunch of different podcasts and just to get ideas and to churn the soup of mental thought, right? Because you can't just listen to
one side.
Yeah, you'll
go crazy.
It's not about go crazy. You'll brainwash yourself. You'll indoctrinate yourself. You have to keep challenging the status quo. Even if you know something's wrong or you know something's right, you have to keep challenging yourself or you won't be able to defend it. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So anyway, because somebody's going to challenge you at some point, and you're going to have to be able to defend why you believe this is true or why you believe this is right and why you believe this is wrong. So anyway, so to get back to what I was saying, like the ultimate point of anything is to be able to reflect on others. And you can reflect in giving, reflect in charity, reflect in altruism. Like those things are what truly brings happiness and satisfaction in one's life. And I think that's what marriage is for us. Marriage is having that person who's there for you, having that person who cares about you endlessly. And I don't see, people don't agree with me. I don't believe marriage is love. I don't believe relationships are love. I don't believe love is a saying. I think that we commodified love. We made love something that we can make money off of. We can put holidays behind, such as Valentine's Day, which didn't even have to do with like love anyway. But like we can put holidays behind it. Like in Chicago and in the Midwest, we got Sweetest Day.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that fake ass shit. I'm sorry.
But like, so we got all this stuff to commodify love, but I think love is the structure. Love is the stone. Love is the tree. It's the seed. It's the grows into the tree. Love is the thing that you create between two people. It is not the thing that you say to two people. So I don't believe love is an expression. I believe love is an action. I believe love is it's a thing that grows. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that is the epitome of happiness.
Yeah.
But we've broken down love into satisfaction. Like, well, how do I like to have sex? How do I like to pleasure myself? Does this person pleasure me? Mm-hmm. And so when people see that and they break up and they're like, oh, he's bad and bad, or they break up and they're like, oh, well, he had this one thing I don't like. Well, that's not love. Even if you said you love that person, because love is endurance, love is perseverance. That's what it is. So as much as you might have said you love this person, I call that deeply caring about a person. We call it, as a society, love, because it just sounds stronger. But what happens is you were around that person, and as a human, you had empathy for them. And as a person who's with them, you cared about them. But is that really what we call love, the structure, love, the mainstay? And I don't think it is. All right, so we're going to... Do you have something to say about that? All right, so we're going to go to the next topic.
I agree with what you said.
Can you just be friends with the opposite sex? That's the next topic.
Can you?
Yeah.
I think so. But there are people... I guess if you're on the outside looking in. No, let me... This is... My friend gave this as an example. She said, prior to her getting married to her husband, if she had any, like, male friends, like, that she had before she met her husband, she kept those friendships. And it's like, well, he's the new guy coming in, so you got to meet my friends. But she said if she met her husband first and then met a single straight male, then she would have to not necessarily ask for permission, but like, hey, just so you know,
let them know what's up.
Yeah, this is my new friend. And then, like, when she said that, like, I had to think, like, wait, why though? Like, if y'all are married, that to me, that means y'all gotten to the point where you trust each other, you know each other, you're secure with who.
Sometimes you got to remove people from temptation though, because temptation will always exist.
It don't matter if to me, marriage is very.
Marriage is the most sacred thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So to me, it's like, if you married, there is no. There will always be temptation, but as far as like from the opposite sex after I get married, it's like I don't even like. But this is just me though.
All right, so my opinion on that is you can be friends with the opposite sex. Here's the thing. The first thing you got to learn is you can't have sex with your friends. That's something that everyone has to learn at a young age.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody has to learn. You have to learn it at a young age, though, because people think that, we have interlocking bodies, we should interlock, and it's not true. It doesn't work. You need
So
friends.
you're saying there's no such thing as friends with benefits, is what you're saying?
Friends with benefits happens after, like, you meet the person and you might be attracted to them. You might sleep with them, but if you have a friend for a long time and you start sleeping with them, you're gonna
feelings are attached at that point.
Yeah, you're gonna ruin that friendship.
You're gonna ruin that friendship in any relationship that you're in.
But if you're with a chick, if you like actually holler at a chick, and it doesn't work out in a relationship and y'all keep sleeping together, that's what I call friends with benefits. But if it's somebody you actually know for a while, you cannot sleep with that person. You can't. It never works. Like, trust me, unless you're trying to love and basketball that thing, or you trying to sit there and be like, are we still talking about basketball? Like, if you trying to do that crap, like, then all right. Are we still talking about hip hop? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the same line every movie. With Sanaa Lathan, and she said the same line every movie. All right. Are we gonna play horse? Are we gonna freestyle? You be like, yo.
I think you can be friends with the opposite, like just friends with the opposite sex. Even after, like, if you're already in a relationship and then you meet somebody and it's like y'all just click on a friend level, like that, to me, that's possible. I mean, I've always told you, like, I always had people, like, apply to be my friends because my circle is very small. Like, as you get older, you're the people in your life.
Keep your circle tight, folks.
Your friend circle should get smaller and smaller. So the fact that me and you are friends right now, like, is just, like, wow to me because I wasn't really looking to add to my circle. But
that's the power of the Barely Legal podcast, y'all.
That's the power of... Never mind. I was about to say, that's the power of you, like, not allowing me to just work because you just kept talking to me. But anyways, I feel...
Yeah. I'm loquacious.
I feel as though you can be just friends with someone and that's it. Yes, on the outside... it looks weird because it's like, well, who is this person you're all of a sudden talking to now? Like you're talking to this person almost every day. Like, you're hanging out with this person, like, quite often. And where do they come from? Like, on the outside looking in, it looks bad. I get that. To me, yeah, I would also be like, all right, well, wait, who is this? Like, y'all sure you're just friends or whatever? But... If you're both friends and you're both in a relationship and the other, like, your significant other, like, doesn't have an issue with it, then I don't allow, like, friends' comments to, you know, deter anything that I, like, my actions. Because I have friends to be like, who's Robbie? Like, why do you, like, who is that? I'm like, you do realize, like, when I go to work, I don't talk to anybody, like, never. Like, I just go to work, and that's it.
Robbie's that dude. All right, so right here, we were going to wrap up, right? But I seen an article the other day, and I grew up as a nerd. I was a nerdy kid. And being a nerd, you do a couple things. You read comic books, you watch a lot of cartoons, you do science shit. And the other thing that you do is you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And to this day, as a grown man, I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer is the greatest show I've ever watched. You can have shows like The Sopranos.
Serious.
You can have shows like Treme. You can have shows like The Wire. But a lot of those shows aren't, like, relatable to the sense that, like, the rewatchability isn't dependent on, like, oh, you know, I want to check this show out. The rewatchability is dependent on the fact that it feels like when you watch this show, you're looking at your friends. You know what I mean? Like, when you watch The Office, you can rewatch that show over and over again. Even when the jokes stop being funny, because it feels like you're actually part of The Office. It feels like you're actually one of them. You know what I mean? It felt so personal. And that's just something that Buffy did. And it was one of the first shows to really have an overarching story. So before that, every stories were one-offs. And so Buffy was something that was greater than that. So in my eyes, Buffy's the greatest show of all time. I think it was Buffy was rated the third most influential television character of all time, which was dope. But anyway, so imagine my surprise when I see that they're doing a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. And being a black male, I should be happy because they're going to make Buffy black. But the thing that bugs me is that I feel like people pander to different generations. And I feel like the same thing happened with Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's like they're saying, forget the old fans. We're trying to get new fans because it's more lucrative if we get new fans. And I understand that teenagers bring in money because teenagers go crazy for things. But at the same time, Buffy means so much to these older people in their early 30s to on, right? The people who are old enough to have watched it when it first aired. There's still people watching it now. But it means so much to those people, and I think a continuation of the show would be better. And you can pander to me with all the we're gonna make her black, and if you want to make a black Slayer and say it's in the same realm as Buffy, I'm completely cool with that. And it might make me sound like a sellout, but I'm a purist, right? So I read the Buffy comics, I read the Angel comics, like I follow all of it. But the thing that bugs me is that we didn't get a great ending to the show. Like I like the last episode Asterix. And so for me, I just want to see a show that continues on the legacy of Buffy, or if you want to make a show that happens that is not related to Buffy, but it's the same essential story, don't call her Buffy. Like why do we have to call her Buffy? Call her Bridget or something like that, or call her like Shauna. Like you don't have to call her Buffy. That's just my 2 cents. That's what we're gonna end on. Love, peace, blessings, and all seriousness. We hope Demi Lovato gets back. Charlamagne, like I hope they figure something out with that. You know, I never wish ill will against anybody, but we definitely got to get down to what happened with that. And with the James Gunn thing, definitely think that was a worthy firing. And you know me, I don't believe people should get fired. I don't believe people should try to get people fired. But with him, I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, he got himself fired.
Absolutely.